All right. How do you want to start this? There's normally like an intro, so we would have a song. And then be like, hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. I'm Daniel.
I'm Chris.
We are the animators of How It Should Have Ended. There's normally three of us. Tina's not here. We're doing something in secret. She doesn't know that we're doing this, so this is kind of a surprise. This may never even see the light of day if this all goes bad, but we're gonna wing it and see if this is even worth presenting.
Pursuing, yeah.
So we just got back from the Cocaine Bear.
Not the Cocaine Bear, just Cocaine Bear.
Just Cocaine Bear.
Yeah.
We just got back from Just Cocaine Bear.
No, it's not just. It's just literally.
It's not just Cocaine Bear.
No.
We got back from seeing a Cocaine Bear.
No, just.
The one and only Cocaine Bear. And I guess we'll just be right up front. We got to say there's spoilers because this is our first attempt at this kind of thing. So our format is all over the place.
Yeah.
So we're kind of expecting you to have already seen the movie, but
If you didn't see the movie,
we'll try to walk through this safely. But if you start to sense, hey, I think I probably didn't need to know that, you probably should bail out.
But if you're clicking on this video, you probably seen the movie.
I don't know. I think people watch stuff they haven't seen before just to find out if they want to check it out.
Okay.
But I'd feel bad giving away all the details because I know we're going to get into all the details.
All of them.
But maybe if we do this again, we'll be much better at preserving all of that for the listener. Or maybe we won't. I don't know. We'll just see how it goes. So that's our spoiler warning, I guess. So let's just jump into it. What was your immediate reaction?
Much like Snakes on a Plane, which for me, this film kind of represents sort of a cultural thing that people are talking about, and you're seeing a lot of people online talking about it. This was sort of I felt like the next, not really a sequel, but like a spiritual successor to that film. As far as my immediate reaction being, I was kind of really excited about it. And then after watching it, it wasn't a letdown so much as I wanted it to be a little bit more crazy than it was for a movie that was called Cocaine Bear.
I had the same reaction. I thought that my takeaway was this isn't quite what I was expecting because I was buying into the hype of like this is going to be insane. This is going to be this crazy wild action movie / horror film that just never stops for like 2 hours, like Fury Road with bears and cocaine. And I think it thought it was that, but didn't really like stick the landing. But I think they want you to like just embrace it for what it is because the whole movie is based on this wildly unlikely occurrence that happened in real life.
Yeah, so this is the way the film starts with a drug dealer throwing cocaine out of a plane and then dying because the parachute doesn't unfurl. That actually happened. A person threw cocaine out, and then they found cocaine on the ground that had been consumed by a bear. And the vets claimed that the bear lived about 20 to 30 minutes before overdosing because it ingested all that cocaine.
Yeah.
And basically, the only truthful part of it was that the vets believe that for those 20 to 30 minutes, the bear was the most insane creature that ever lived on the earth.
The most dangerous animal to ever lived on the earth.
Not that he killed anyone, or not that it had cubs that also had cocaine. None of that actually.
Saying like what would have happened to it.
Yeah, like this is sort of like an alternative fantasy of like what could have happened had it been around people during that 20 to 30 minute time. So that's the only true part. That's why it's based on true events, not based on a true story. It's just there are parts of this that are true, but only the first part.
That he's a bear.
That it's a bear that took cocaine. Yeah, it's a she bear.
I guess we should start with talking about there's not much bear in this movie. So the first 20 minutes, maybe even longer, it felt longer, but there's a lot of like establishing who we're going to follow.
Yeah. And Jaws is famous for not showing the shark for the first hour. In this film, obviously you see the bear in the first scene. So like they're not trying to do that, but like they are. The shark is a presence, even though you don't see the shark. It is a part of the story in a way that I'd wish the bear had been more of a part because I do think the bear is the movie.
I guess we should talk about what we enjoyed. Or
Can I tell you what I liked?
yeah, go ahead. What did you?
The ambulance, the whole ambulance crew and scene, I thought
Yeah.
was the best part of the movie.
I wish I
Like, it
hadn't
had
seen that
that-
already. They showed that in
Yeah,
the
it was
teaser.
obviously in the trailer, but like even just I felt like just from a filmmaking perspective, like using the park ranger's heartbeat as sort of a like almost like a music tone. Like you could feel the suspense as he was opening the door and seeing the bear, and like the reveal of that was I thought really well done. And then the humor of her not being able to say bear, but slowly taking the stethoscope to her mouth and getting that bear, thought that was easily my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And yeah, that whole the subsequent chase I thought was great. I just wish there had been more of that sort of insanity in the movie, because when they do it like that, and I felt like the tree scene with the bear climbing the tree, like both those like suspense scenes were really well done.
I'm having a hard time coming up with what I liked about this movie.
Did you not like it at all?
Well, I don't really want to say I didn't like it. Or that I didn't enjoy it. It's that the people involved in making this film are people that I kind of hold to a higher standard. Like the producers, Lord and Miller, have made some of my most favorite entertainment. They're responsible for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, the Lego Movie, the Mitchells versus the Machines. We'll never know what their solo Star Wars movie was, but that could have been amazing too. And but they've also made one of my favorite little miniseries, The After Party. It's really funny, and so I think these are guys that are known for taking something very silly and making it meaningful, and so I didn't think Cocaine Bear really ever made it to that level. And you could say, yeah, because it's a movie about a bear doing cocaine. What more substance do you want? But it's like, yeah, I trust these guys to pull it off, and I didn't think it really like showed up this time, and that's what disappointed me, because I think maybe I hold them to a higher standard. And so I was very distracted by this is an 80s movie. It's trying to act like it was filmed in the 80s, even like the music and the look, which is cool. I was like, I like that stuff. I want that out of this movie. But it didn't ever like take it up to the notch where like Rodriguez's Grindhouse. Is it called Grindhouse or Planet of Terror or something like that? That movie like knows exactly what it is. And that's what makes it enjoyable. Awesome. This movie felt like it was trying to be several things. Like we're joking about drug abuse, but we're also trying to say like, don't do that, kids.
But here, kids, like this. That was a little uncomfortable. Let's show kids, eating cocaine, and then let's show bear cubs also just totally going at their own cocaine. And it's like it's got a really uncomfortable relationship with children and hard drugs. That was a little weird.
It made me question like, is this movie funny to people that have recovered from a cocaine addiction? Can they find this funny because they get it? But the music, I like the style of the music. I think that would probably be my praise. That was something that I thought was authentic to the vibe. I wish the story, and I don't know if it's a matter of like bringing all of those characters, because there's lots of people in this movie. This is Elizabeth Banks. Is this her first director?
No, she directed Charlie's Angels, and
that's right. I think that's another reason why I was hyped for this to be awesome, because I think she's someone who does comedy real well, and so I expect her to have like a high caliber of judgment, I guess. Like I was expecting something a little wittier mixed with the slasher genre or the monster movie, and the stories of everyone involved were very plain, that I didn't feel like I bonded with like the kids at the beginning that you're supposed to like fear for. I wasn't totally ever afraid for them.
This is the kind of movie where I think a kid could have died and probably should have died because of the
be like it.
Yeah, like, or just just that kind of like we want the audience not to know, so we're gonna like break that rule, kind of like what A Quiet Place did.
Yeah.
Once you have that kid die, suddenly no one's safe because kids always live in these sorts of movies.
Like Carrie Russell's the mom of one of the kids, and this is all the part where maybe I was just like, where is the bear? We're spending all this time talking with all these people to like let you kind of get an idea who's going to be in this show. But I understand that's to establish a bond and for you to like hope they make it out okay. But then there's this side story of the drug team, I guess you want to call them, the
cocaine dealers.
They're being sent to go retrieve the bags.
Yes.
And then for some reason, the guy that's not Han Solo.
Not my Han Solo.
Not my Han. What's so bad with names?
Alden Ehrenreich.
He's going through something for some reason.
His wife died, and his son is with his grandfather, the guy in charge of cocaine distribution.
So he's the big drug lord that says, "Go get my coke back." The whole story about him being sad, I don't understand that other than you'd hope he doesn't get killed because he's going through some hard times. And so is there something about being a bad parent that's like the vibe in this movie? Like everyone's kind of got
every parent sucks.
Yeah, and then like
maybe
then there's the cop or the detective
who's a bad pet parent who doesn't accept this new dog.
He got the dog he didn't want.
Foists the dog onto somebody else, who then foists the dog onto another person by the end of the movie.
Right.
Kept on thinking that dog was gonna have something to do with the end, like whether it was the dog that gets the bear to leave or something. The way that the dog was always present but never really in the story felt like a smoking gun that never fired. Payoff. Yeah, like you introduce this dog.
And it was white too, so it could have like the bear could have thought
the bear would have thought the dog was cocaine. Yeah, that would have been, I guess, more interesting and also maybe more insane.
So there's like 3 main stories. Mm-hmm. No, there's 4 because then there's the park ranger.
Yeah.
And all the hoodlums that she's got hanging around. Like, who are these people that hang out at the state park bathroom? So all these people kind of end up in the forest, and you just kind of watch them deal with the bear.
Yeah.
And that's basically probably the story as you could guess based on the trailer. I'm surprised there wasn't any more value to it than that. I mean, I was impressed with the bear. I presume that's a CG bear.
That's a CG bear, and I agree. I thought the animal CG is getting so much better. Like, it used to be like, oh, that was obviously not a real creature, but I thought they did a fantastic job.
Sometimes it's like overacting. You can tell this like was doing things you could see a bear doing, and it didn't feel like, oh, that's not even like, that's a person in a suit.
Yeah, I thought the animation of it being angry from the cocaine, like you could tell it was like jacked and mad. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like I thought that looked really good.
So our biggest praise is our music and the bear effects.
I did like that the bear would waffle between being overly aggressive and overly just vibing. Like, you're just happy to be there. Oh, there's a butterfly. Oh, I smell cocaine. Now I'm crazy. Like that. Like, I like that. You never know what version of the bear was going to be the next moment.
Even the butterfly is not safe.
I think for me, I was kind of good with the film, and then it kind of lost me in the last 15 minutes. I felt that cave.
That long?
Well, not that I didn't think it was a great movie, but I was okay with it. It's just that last cave scene, or really, I guess even before, when the random guy from the opening of the movie shows up and then does nothing of value. Like, he, I guess, helps them find the cave? Or he just...
Yeah.
And then he stands guard outside, and then we hear him screaming, and then we never see what happens to him.
So he must have...
He probably died.
Perished.
He died, then the bear never comes... Like, okay, so let me get this straight. So they go into the cave, they find the cubs, they find the daughter, they then hear screaming, which in my mind was like, oh, the bear is immediately going to come. But no, it's not the bear, it's the drug team. They come in, and then they have their big crazy, their little fight, and Kerry Russell gets the gun, and then the bear comes in. So it kind of
I
wasn't paced right.
I thought Kerry Russell was going to shoot the bear.
Oh, and there was also this random, I've never seen this before in a movie, this random flashback that the drug team has where they stumble across, I'm guessing, the lady from the very beginning of the movie.
Oh,
remember,
yeah.
like they I guess so they know that but they already know the bear's out there. So like they're talking about something, and then they go, "Oh, don't you remember that time when we stumbled upon that person?" And then it flashes as a flash cut, and then you see this faceless person for 2 seconds, and then we're back. And it's like, what just happened?
They
like,
just showed gore without having to.
Why didn't you show that before in the movie? Like, actually show that movie in sequence, and then that whole just cliff scene felt.
It lost its.
Yeah, it lost the mojo that it had. Like, usually when these movies, these crazy movies, like they build to just an insane climax, and then when it's just this, it literally looked like it was a soundstage that they could only film from one direction, and it just felt very flat, I guess, compared to the rest of the film.
I agree with that too.
And then they jump, and then they're okay.
No consequences.
And the bear and their cubs are still.
The guy, Ray Liotta, he gets it. They leave it open, like, maybe we can make more of these.
Yeah, like that's very much what that last scene was.
They could have done the same thing by revealing that the bear had cubs if you didn't even know there were cubs at the beginning.
Yeah, all the cubs did was make you hate Ray Liotta more and then want him to die, even though he's nothing of a redeemable character before that.
O'Shea Jackson, the guy that gets stabbed with the knife, and he has it the worst in this movie. And I guess that was supposed to be humorous, but he's like dealing with all this pain. Stabbed in the back.
He gets his two fingers shot off. And they're not that
was probably my favorite joke. Was that
they're not even next to each other.
How did you get those 2 fingers? But then his development was like, where did that go? What was that even for? And you could say you're expecting too much out of a movie called Cocaine Bear, and I'd say, but that's still the point of all these slasher films. Is there's usually like a element that makes a person different than they were
at the start of the movie. Yeah,
and so it just felt like everyone was the same.
There were no arcs. People say, "Oh, what's a popcorn movie?" It's just a movie that you're just supposed to go and enjoy. Well, Jurassic Park has an arc for its main character, Alan Grant. Starts the movie hating kids, goes on this crazy adventure with dinosaurs, ends the movie feeling like,
and now he's like holding on to the kids.
Yeah, he's a father-like figure at the end. That was the thing that was missing. Is there was nothing learned by its characters other than don't go in the woods when a bear is doing cocaine. Which sounds insane, but that's the message.
I like how it tells you at the beginning too, from Wikipedia. The best thing you can do is fight a bear.
Okay, yeah, I wanted someone to punch the bear. Like when you set that up in the opening scene, he's like, we're gonna fight it, and then she immediately runs away.
Would that have been the thing that knocks it out?
Yeah.
Snaps it out and feels
it's getting right in her face, and it's roaring, and she punches it in the nose, and it reverts to its silly self. Like, that would be funny, and like that would feel
extremely unrealistic.
Yeah, but like that ends up being the thing that you were supposed to do. Like because then you think back to the opening scene when he's like, we gotta fight it, and then his wife runs away and
right, because I remember thinking she's not fighting, or she obviously didn't fight back. Yeah, I think that is
like you're setting something up, and then you're paying it off, and then it feels like, oh, that feels like a narrative completion.
I also expected the park ranger to not have died from falling out of the.
I thought she was still alive
gurney.
too. Yeah,
and so I thought that was going to be a running gag that she just gets worse and worse, but is still like the only one that remains in the end, like, because she was shooting and occasionally getting the shot off, but like the fact that she kept missing made her death feel at the wrong place as well. So I thought they're gonna come back and she's gonna still be breathing on.
Like I thought I saw her eyes move as the bear as that scene ended. I was like, she's still alive, isn't she? And then I saw at the very end they're walking by the gurney.
Yeah, and they even said they were making jokes out of it, like, don't look at it. And he's like, oh, we're crackheads now, Mom. Or it we've already kind of said we don't recommend it, I guess. I don't recommend it.
Wait till streaming.
Oh, I hate saying that about movies because I'm sure there's other people that are like, that movie was awesome. Y'all are just a bunch of grumps.
Well, this is the kind of movie that, I like monster movies, and unfortunately, most of them are kind of in this realm where they're okay, but they're not. They could be so much more, and I feel like this is just another one in that stack. This is not. I mean, if you want to go see a bear do cocaine, this is the movie for you, but it's not. I just wanted narratively a little bit more, and I wish the movie had been, like you said, not afraid to go a little bit crazy.
Because it's even kind of told in a weird way where you don't even realize why the people are being attacked yet. At the very beginning, you've got the couple that's like talking about, oh, we're gonna get married and have kids, and so I'm like, oh, these two are gonna die. Obviously, you're supposed to feel good for them, and then. But there was no like, what's this bag, honey? It's cocaine. Oh my gosh! And then the bear like raises up with dust all over its face, and you're like, the bear has done cocaine. And then they die. Like, it was just like they're looking at a bear and it's banging its head on a
That was
tree.
Supposed to be your reveal that something is gone awry with this bear.
It's the movie's responsibility to kind of like tell that tale.
To show you rather than tell you.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't get why that wasn't in there. It was like the reveal after the death, right? Like the attack, and then it roars with the title screen. But the kids find the bag of the cocaine, and later, by the time you get to the kids in the woods.
But that should have been something that should have been the very beginning.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's up, cocaine bear?
Well, okay. Here's a question then. I guess we can talk about like if you want to potentially do this as a cartoon. If we're not going to do a cartoon, what would you have done?
What we've changed?
Like,
I mean, it's not funny, but I think that like I had a problem with the park ranger just being an idiot or not having a radio. The lady was always infatuated with the other guy.
Or that, the ambulance that went out to help and then never returned for a day.
Well, at the end, the cops are finally showing up.
Yeah, but it's like the next morning. It's like...
that ambulance never came back after they went to go answer that call. Do you think we should send somebody?
Or we could radio
They're
them?
also not answering the radio.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's fine. Yeah. It's just the woods. Nothing bad ever happens in the woods.
The other thing that I was thinking about was like when the bear takes cocaine at the gazebo, sitting there and rolling on the ground, like they could have just lit that bear up from close range with those two firearms.
Popped it in the face. Yeah. I think I would have, if we were going to do a cartoon, I for sure would say it's got to be something about the ambulance gone missing that authorities would show up. Yeah. Or the detective that doesn't deserve to die.
I thought he was going to come back alive.
He just got hit in the belly.
He got hit in the belly, and then we see him, and then,
That's not a mortal wound in movie land. Like, get on your feet.
Unless you're talking
Save your
about,
dog.
Yeah. That's what it needed. It needed the dog to be a part of this of the end because the dog was always there. Awesome. And then he comes back, and right when the bear is about to kill the dog, he shows up. Like, how did you get off the gazebo?
Wasn't easy.
That, and he didn't say his classic line.
Yeah, he was saying it, but real fast.
It's like you had a perfect opportunity when he was looking down at the ground when he's on top of the gazebo. That's when he should have said it. He almost said it like 3 times. I kept on waiting.
Or if he's like, shoot that bear. That's how it should have ended.
That's how Cocaine Bear should have ended.
Shoot that bear. All right, I guess that's it. That's enough Cocaine Bear. If we can keep doing this, I'd like to do some more review talk. What are we going to call this show? We can't decide on what to call it.
Yeah, maybe you guys can write some ideas.
What is this thing?
What is this thing that you're hearing right now?
I don't want to call it a podcast because I don't think we'll be able to commit to a podcast, but there's a lot of movies coming up that I'm ready to see. Which one are you ready? I know you want to see 65.
I do like dinosaurs.
I think we will.
I do like Adam
That'll
Driver.
be a heated debate because if I don't like it, you'll probably love it just because it's got dinosaurs in it.
I saw Jurassic World Dominion last year, and that was one of my least favorite films. Yeah. So just because you got dinosaurs in it doesn't mean that I love it.
That movie kind of doesn't have dinosaurs, even though it does. It seemed like it was all about crickets.
Yeah, they're called locusts, Daniel.
Yeah. Man. Would you sit through that or do you want to watch Cocaine Bear again?
Honestly, I'd rather watch Cocaine Bear again.
Doesn't feel as overdone yet.
Yeah.
But by the time they get to like Cocaine Bear 3,
Cocaine Bear World.
Be like, what else do we need to do with this story, y'all?
You know what? If next Cocaine Bear has 3 cocaine bears, and it's called Cocaine Bears, like aliens.
Oh, that's what they'll do. They'll call it Cocaine Bears.
There you go. Calling it
and
now.
Then it'll be Cocaine Bear 3.
All right.
Which will be in a prison.
Cocaine Bear Resurrection.
And then then Elizabeth Banks will come back and be like, I'm doing Cocaine Bear.
This is the real Cocaine Bear 3.
This is the real Cocaine Bear 2. Those other 2 were not my vision.
Yeah.
This is the real story.
No, but seriously, I'm calling it the next. If this movie does well and gets a sequel, the next one will be called Cocaine Bears.
Yeah.
Mark it.
I believe it. Anyway, let us know if you want more of these or if this is super boring. We'd like to hear from you. And maybe we'll do this on the regular.
Yeah.
There's a lot of movies this summer. All right. I'm Daniel.
I'm Chris.
And we're finished now.
This is how this should have ended.
This is how it ended. That's what we can call it. How Cocaine Bear ended, and then we'll make how it should have ended. We'll call this podcast How It Ended.